Welcome to Camojojo Outdoors World. Here you will discover the finest animal videos and hunting equipment. It's not uncommon for some animals to be confused with others of the same species. When observing wildlife from a distance, even the most seasoned observers may have trouble differentiating between species like elk and moose. More than 30 years ago, moose were reintroduced to Colorado, and since then, the state has seen a moose population boom in many regions. Tragically, hunters accidentally kill moose almost every year. Over the past several years, dozens of moose have been killed annually by hunters who mistook them for elk. The distinction between these two ungulates is important for elk hunters. A moose hunter who does not have the proper license could face fines of more than $1,000 and the revocation of hunting privileges if caught and convicted. The elk is the intermediate-sized relative to the moose and white-tailed deer. Typically, they'll be between 710 and 730 kilos. Elk, like white-tailed and mule deer, can be a nuisance on the road, though they tend to walk instead of dart out of the way. A moose is a deer, and the largest deer species. Deer that measure over 2 meters in height at the withers are unquestionably moose. Male antlers can span a distance of 4 feet, 9 inches in width, 1.5 m. Moose, like elk, are browsers rather than grazers. Concentrate selectors, also known as browsing animals, actively forage for food. The animals prefer low-fiber diets that are high in protein and fat. Their metabolism has adapted to deal with this type of food over time. The two species are vastly dissimilar in appearance, behavior, and size. The average weight of a full-grown male Shiras moose is around 1,200 pounds, making them roughly twice as heavy as an average male elk. Moose are a very dark brown, nearly black, in color. Elk are generally a light brown color, with a slight yellowish tint to their tail. Sometimes a bull elk will have a golden sheen to them. A mature bull moose's antlers are broad and flat, while an elk's are sharp and pointy. Hunters must take into account the entire animal before firing, as some young bull moose still have pointy antlers. Moose are not like elk in how they react to humans getting close to them. Unlike elk, moose usually won't flee from a hunter's approach. Consequently, they'll be simpler to kill. So, if the animal sees you but doesn't flee, it's probably a moose. Many hunters are able to identify elk and moose from their tracks. This is one of the most reliable methods for distinguishing between elk and moose on the hunt. The typical elk track is about 4 inches long and 3 inches wide, according to hunters. In contrast, moose tracks are longer and deeper than elk tracks. Comparing moose tracks to those of elk makes it clear that the former prefer to keep to themselves. Because they travel in herds, elk often leave multiple sets of tracks, but moose typically only leave the tracks of a single animal, or perhaps 2 to 4 during mating season. Using their relative sizes and weights, we can identify which animal left these tracks. Since moose weigh considerably more than elk, they're heavier bodies cause their tracks to penetrate further into the ground. In contrast, elk tracks typically only go a short distance into the soil. However, this is conditional on the soil and surrounding environment. Visibility improves in damp or loose soil. In any case, try to assess the animal as a whole before making a final decision. Well, that's all. Like what you see? Consider becoming a subscriber. Thank you.